Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So as you can see by the title, I decided to create a second YouTube channel called Untamed Living. And honestly, I went back and forth on this idea for quite some time, and maybe not for the best reason. So I enjoy knowing that this entire community that we've built together for Untamed Motors is here. It's in one spot, it's centralized. And a part of me is always kind of afraid if I created a second channel, it kind of splits up the group, if you will. It kind of splits up the family a little bit, for lack of better terms. For that reason, I've decided not to do it for the longest time. But the more comments I get, more messages I get on Instagram, the more I realize that there could be value in me creating this second channel. I don't expect it to grow fast at all. You guys know this Untamed Motors channel here took several years to gain traction. So I don't have any high hopes or high expectations, rather, for this Untamed Living channel to really grow that fast. I really just want to do it for the sake of not force feeding these various other topics that I'm passionate about into Untamed Motors, because I'm not oblivious. I understand that this channel is automotive focused, of course, right? So I've always geeked out about Toyotas, buying and selling vehicles, that process, and helping you guys out with that, modifications to vehicles, and that has become the focus of Untamed Motors, and rightfully so, especially given the name, right? On occasion, I would sprinkle in some other topics on the channel here, as many of you know, but I'd like to do more, and I don't want to just force feed a bunch of it into this. So for that reason, Untamed Living now exists. So I'll put the link in the description below. Of course, I'll throw it in the comments as well. If you're interested in at least checking it out, feel free to do so. It's very vacant right now, as I just created it. But I encourage you to go at least check it out, maybe amongst the next few weeks here. So what am I going to talk about on Untamed Living? What will the focus of that channel be? Well, I think I've narrowed it down to four different categories. So number one is real estate, two, company ownership, three, self-improvement, and four, military service. So let me dissect it a little bit more. So you guys know recently I just earned my real estate license here in the state of Wyoming. You also know that we recently moved back to Wyoming, just back in August, as I separated from active duty Air Force and joined the Wyoming Air National Guard. So a lot of you, as I've read through comments throughout the last several years, even the last time that I lived here in Wyoming, I would oftentimes get that comment of, wow, it looks so beautiful there, or wow, it's so spacious, or wow, it looks like Mars. Where are you? So a lot of people would always ask where I'm at, because they're interested. They're interested in the landscape here, and really just the space between houses, which is a very prominent and common thing here in Wyoming, as you'd imagine, perhaps. But it really is a phenomenal place to live, not just because of the space between houses and the room that you have, the breathing room you have, but you guys know, I left active duty Air Force, the Air Force I loved, to come here and set roots for my family, my growing family, because we absolutely loved Wyoming. We love Cheyenne, Wyoming. But more importantly, not beyond the landscape and scenery, it really is the people. It's phenomenal people here. It's a wonderful community. And as soon as you live here for a couple months, assuming you can get used to the wind, you truly recognize that this is a wonderful place to raise a family. And that's why we came back. And that, I say this all on purpose, is why I decided to try my hand at real estate. Because I truly believe in Wyoming. I believe in living here. It is a place that I love, a community that I love. And because of that, I decided to get a real estate license and try it out and try to connect people with houses here, because I know that they'll love it too, especially if they have a family. So that is a driving reason. It is something that I truly believe in. I know it's going to be a grind, especially since being a new agent and kind of being a little bit of an outsider, not born and raised here, can always be tough to really break into being a successful real estate agent. But I definitely am eager to try it out. And you guys know I take great pride in getting excellent deals on Toyotas. So you can expect that I will do the same for you when it comes to buying your home. So if you reach out to me, I'll absolutely take care of you in that regard. So I'll end my sales pitch there, but real estate is going to be a crux of the channel. I'll often post up walkthrough videos of the houses that I'm either showing or have listed or doing open houses for, just to get it out there. So feel free to check that out if you're interested in seeing what Wyoming has to offer as far as housing goes. The second topic was company ownership. So you guys know I just started Untamed Motors, LLC, and it was off to a rocky start. I spent a lot of time invested without much of any return for the longest time, but we're starting to get some traction. It's starting to get some traction, especially with my newer business model is getting some traction, and I'm seeing some success in actually connecting clients with their desired vehicles. So I want to be able to talk through that a little bit more with you guys, and not even so much about the details of Untamed Motors LLC, but more in a broader scope of what does it take to create a company? What does it take? What's the process of establishing an LLC, and how to do it the right way? What are the hurdles you need to jump over in order to do it correctly, right? So I can walk you through that process in case you happen to be interested in creating your own company, no matter what it is. I can help you with that process because it took some digging for me to kind of navigate it on my own. So I'd be happy to share my learnings with you guys on that. The third focus would be self-improvement. Many of you know, I do take great pride in self-improvement. Being able to just advance my education has always been a priority of mine personally. Although I went the college route, I do believe that there's various other mediums and routes to take to be successful. But for me, it was college, and I take great pride in advancing my education in that way. You guys know I have a bachelor's in communication studies, a master's in management, and a PhD in general psychology with an emphasis in industrial and organizational psychology. So an IO Psych PhD. So if there are any of you who are interested in hearing a little bit more about my educational journey, I'm absolutely happy to share that. And really just kind of help you navigate that process too. What major should you choose? Which one should you not consider? What schools should you consider and why? Which ones shouldn't you consider? And if you are considering a PhD, I'm more than happy to talk through that process. I know there's very few folks who are maybe dumb enough to pursue it like myself, but there's a little thing called a dissertation within a PhD program, and that can make or break you. It's such a daunting and grueling process. At least it was for me. So I'm happy to share my lessons learned throughout that. Maybe provide some things not to do within your PhD journey if you end up wanting to do that. So self-improvement at large is a topic that I would like to just talk through on occasion on the channel on Untamed Living. And the final thing is military service. So even just the other day on Veterans Day, I posted a couple of photos, and normally I kind of kept those close hold. And you guys remember, especially when I was on active duty, I kept my military service totally separate from my channel here on purpose, right? Because I didn't want anyone to ever think that my views were that of the Department of Defense or of the Air Force. So I was very purpose and cautious about that, although I know that was even maybe an unnecessary thing to do given the nature of my content here. None of it is controversial. It's just geeking out about Toyotas. But I always kind of took that safer approach, right? But now I'm off of active duty. I'm in the Wyoming Air National Guard, and I'm more willing to talk through it with you guys if anyone is interested. And when I posted those photos just the other day on Veterans Day, a handful of people would reach out to me, and they're asking for tips, tricks, and advice. They were considering to join themselves. I had one individual who said he's trying to be a cadet. What does that process look like for him? And I'm happy to share my experience with you guys. I was a cadet myself in Air Force ROTC throughout college, and that's how I earned my commission as a second lieutenant right out of the gate. So happy to share my entire experience, not just how I commissioned, but all in all, I'm super, super grateful for my entire military experience, just over 9 years. I've absolutely loved it, and I'm super grateful to be able to continue my service in the Wyoming Air National Guard. So if there are any questions, or if there is interest in hearing about any of that stuff, I'm more than happy to share it with you guys if it means helping you out in some shape or form, because the military is a phenomenal route. And again, just super grateful for all the opportunities that it has provided me and my family. Lots of travel. It paid for my college, the vast majority of it anyway. And again, just super grateful for that. But yeah, there you have it, guys. Real estate, company ownership, self-improvement, and military service. Those are going to be the primary focus points, with real estate being the driving one on that particular channel. So I hope you guys, if you watch this through, I hope you guys can go check it out. Again, I'll throw the link in the description below as well as in the comments. So as always, I do appreciate your support. Until next time.